I'm Brooke Elder, founder of Social Tenacity, for those of you who don't know. And time management is one of my favorite things because it is the thing that is going to help us really get more things done in less time. And it was interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine today, and she was saying how she was just telling everybody how she felt overwhelmed and she was so busy and stuff like that. And then she stopped back and she was like, no, I think I got this. I'm actually not as busy as I say that I am, and I actually had this go through my head yesterday. I was thinking about all the things I needed to do and I just don't have enough time to get it done. And then wait a second, what am I telling myself? So the first thing when it comes to time management is listen to the words that you're saying to yourself. If you're telling yourself all the time, oh, I'm so busy. Oh, I don't have time for that. And it may not be what you're telling yourself. It could be what you're telling other people. It could be oh, I'm so busy. I can't handle anything, but then when you stop and you look at your life, you're like, you know what? I'm actually not as busy as I once thought that I was. And for some of you, you may be like, no, I really am busy, and it's funny because we can define busy on so many different levels. I remember back when I was in high school, when I was a senior in high school, I was going to a private art school. I was also going to college. I had 2 jobs and stuff. And I'm I was doing way more back then than I ever have done now. And I have 4 kids and all of this stuff, but I didn't feel busy then. And I felt like I could go hang out with my friends and stuff. So I'm what has changed? And the biggest thing has changed as then, especially when you're in school, everything is structured, right? So we have a structure of we go to school, we go to work, we do these things. And we have blocks of time that are set aside for this is my friend time. And then when we're an adult, we don't really have that anymore. We have our work time. But other than that, there's so many other things. We have so many opportunities. And we want to spend time with our kids, spend time with their families, spend time with their spouse. We have all these things. But we don't set aside certain times in order to have that happen. So the first thing that really helps you with your time blocking is to do a time audit. And this is something that's really hard, but for a couple days, I recommend a week, but sometimes it's hard to do it for a week. Even a day is going to be eye-opening. And I want you to look at, okay, how much time do you actually spend on doing things, And a lot of the time, when you're so busy, you're spending time on oh, I have this huge to-do list. And then you end up doing something else instead, right? There's been times where I'm why am I cleaning the bathroom right now? Yeah, it needed to be done, but that wasn't on my list of things to do today. So usually what happens is we stray from our list of things to do because we don't want to do something on that list. And so we tend to feel we're so busy because we have this list of things to do, but we're actually busy not doing anything. And it could be there are times where I'll find myself, if I'm talking on the phone, I like to pace when I'm on the phone. I don't know why, maybe you're like me, but just walking around and stuff, I'm I could be doing something else. I could be, if I'm talking on the phone to someone, I could be mopping my floor or something, so seeing how you can multitask that way. That kind of multitasking is okay. When you're doing one thing, when I drive, I like to listen to Audible. That kind of multitasking is okay. But just do a time audit and start looking at how much time you're actually spending on things. So if you are trying to run your team, how much time are you actually spending on helping your customers? How much time are you actually spending on talking to people? And I would do every phone now has a timer, right? So get your phone, do a timer when you start a project, and then stop it when you're done doing that project. And you're going to see there's actually a lot of time in your day that you're not using very wisely. So once you've done that, then you can make a time map or time blocking. And this has been a total game changer for me. And it's been something I've been talking about for lots of years because it is the number one thing that has changed not only my business, but my personal life. And it helps me get so much more done. And it makes me feel like I can get the things done that I need to, and then I can go and do something else, or makes me feel like I am very accomplished at the things that I'm doing. So this is how you do a time blocking map. So you want to think, okay, I have Monday. Let's create these blocks. So I think of them as containers of time, right? So in a perfect organized fridge, let's say you have all your leftovers and they're all organized in these containers and they're all kind of stacked up in your fridge, right? That's kind of how I think of my day of how I'm going to stack these time blocks. So I have time set aside. So Monday is my day that I meet with my team. So I will have like an hour and a half set aside for, okay, this is the time I'm meeting with my team. And that only is team things. Then it's Mondays are the day that I work on my business. And so you're going to put together what are some of the things that you do to work on your business. So this is administrative type things. This is kind of like clerical things. This is what systems need to be built out. All of those things are the things that I work on Monday. So kind of a theme for the days. Then Tuesday's the day that I work mostly on my customer things. So Tuesday, I'm going to like say, okay, what do my customers need? How do I follow up with them? So you do your follow-up calls, you do reach outs, you do those kind of things for your customers. Then Wednesday is going to be your, and you can set this up any way you want, but my Wednesday is my hostess day. Party planning company is a company that I did. So I would do like whatever I need for my hostesses, like to get ready for parties, if they need hostess packets, if I need to get more hostess, that's the day that I do it. And I have like 2 to 3 hours set aside that, I mean, you can decide how much time you actually need, and you're going to know that by tracking it on your phone, right? So on your phone, you're going to say, this is how long this takes me. Because what happens is on average, we underestimate our time by about 50%. So if we think it's going to take us 1 hour to do something, it usually will take us 2, and my husband knows this about me all the time and I think it might be like a woman thing. So I was talking to my husband one day and I said, oh yeah, I'll be home in like an hour. And he goes, well, I know that means 2. And he said, whatever time you tell me, I always double it. And that's about right. And I'm like, yeah, that is about right. So always like, if you think, oh, I can get this done in an hour, give yourself 2. Because 1, if you were going to finish something earlier, like it only really did take you an hour, you have a whole extra hour that you can get something else done. Or if it does really take you 2 hours, but you think it's only going to take you 1, you're not going to feel like, oh no, I have all of this stuff planned and I am like rushing to get things done, because you're not very good at managing your time, right? So putting those together. So time blocking is something that's really important. And you want to time block other things besides just what's in your business. What do you want to do with your family? So one of the things that my family does, and we've been doing this for years, is every Saturday night, that's our movie night. And we get together, we all get to choose different, everyone takes a turn picking a movie, and we watch movies every Saturday. That's a non-negotiable. Like every Saturday night, that's what we do, so I don't plan things on that because that's our family time. Then we have on Tuesday nights, my kids have activities every Tuesday. And so that is their time. Thursday nights are our new date nights. And so my husband and I, even if like sometimes our date is just we put the kids to bed a little bit early and then we watch Netflix and pop popcorn, and that's our date. But it's time for us to spend together, and that is like our time every single week. So think of those things. What are some of the things that you want to put in as like your non-negotiables? Like these are my family times, and I put my family times in first. And then I go in and I put what is my business time, because my family is most important. And when you are running your business, most likely your family is the reason why you're doing this. And so if your family is the reason why you're doing this, then you want to make sure that you are honoring that. Because especially like if you've ever had your kids say to you like, Mom, you're always on the phone, right? And I am totally guilty of this. And it's because when I was in family time, I was still trying to do work time. And so when I have my family time, I put my phone away. I don't answer it. Like it's not even around, because I am there like dedicated to my kids. And so you have to like, it's setting those hard boundaries with yourself. And when you do that, then you are able to actually manage your time a lot better, because you have these boundaries put in place. And you probably have heard me talk about this a lot, but one of the examples that I give is think about if you're like listening to a symphony, right? If you're listening to a symphony, there's going to be different things playing at different levels. So we have like the woodwinds are going to be playing and they're really low, but like maybe the strings are really the strings are playing very soft, but the woodwinds are playing very loud. And then it's going to change. And then we have the percussion that's going to do something. And then we have like something else, you know, so it's kind of this like wave of all of these different highs and lows. And that's exactly what our life is like and how it should be. So when we have our business hat on, like we can play loud and it's okay in our business, but then there's a time where we need to put that away and we need to put our mom hat on or our wife hat on or our husband hat on, whatever it is, we can put that on. And then this is still down here. It doesn't mean it's going away. It doesn't mean that the problems or whatever's going on isn't there. It's not our focus. This is our focus. And so that's how we create balance. Balance isn't like I give equal amount of time. That's not balance. Balance means that there is this kind of ebb and flow wave of between your business, your personal life, and anything else that you've got going on. Maybe you are like PTA president or you want to volunteer at your kid's school or whatever. Like all of those different things, they can raise and lower depending on where you're at and what situation you are. But the key to making all that work is to have it so you don't have one playing loud and the other one playing loud at the same time. And that's what happens when our kids say, you're on your phone all the time because you're doing business when you're supposed to be doing family. So put your phones away, be with your family. Then when it's work time, you can tell your kids, okay, I'm working. Like my kids know when those doors are shut, I'm working. And this is work time. And if the doors are open, they're welcome to come in while I'm working and stuff like that. But if the doors are shut, that's the boundary that we've set. So sometimes you just have to set those rules and don't expect people to know. That's the thing that I've been reading a lot in different forums and in Facebook groups and stuff that people are talking about. How do you work from home with kids home during summertime, maybe your husband's home and stuff like that? Like, what do you do? And the biggest thing is setting those boundaries, because my family doesn't feel like, oh, mom's not around. Like, yes, the doors are shut. I'm working, but they don't feel like they are like left out in the dust, because as soon as those doors open and I go outside this room, business is gone. And now I'm mom and I can be there for them. So that is a huge part of your time management, because my guess is if you're having a hard time with time management, it's because you're trying to do both at the same time. You know, you're trying to text a customer at your son's baseball game. Like, see where your boundaries are. And it's okay. There's never going to be a crisis, right? And if there is, it can wait a half an hour. So just give yourself some grace. It'll be all right. Then when you create your day of what you want it to look like, having it be Monday looks like this, Tuesday looks like this, and you set up your buckets, then you know, okay, I'm going to work on, like, say, maybe one day is your marketing day. And you're saying, okay, everything that I need to work on marketing, it goes on Wednesday. And that's my marketing bucket. And that's where it all goes. So then if you are like way into lists and you want to create a bunch of to-do lists, you can create a marketing list and have everything that you need to do on that. So that way you have time set aside. Okay, this is now my marketing time. What do I need to get accomplished? And you have that whole list of things to do. So it's really just a way of getting organized. So someone who is super organized is going to be like, this is super easy. Someone who is like ADD and not organized, this is going to be very difficult for you to kind of like start putting into place. But it's just baby steps. And if you get off of your time blocking that you put together, it's okay. Like, don't beat yourself up about it. Just get right back on and get going. So I do have a course that teaches all about time management. If you're looking for like step-by-step, how do I set up a time block? How do I know that too much is too much? How do I know like what things I need to delegate? We do have a course on that. It's called, I think it's just called Time Management actually. So you can go to socialtenacity.com/time and you can go and check that out if you are interested in learning more about how to manage your time. So thank you so much for being on another episode of Authentic Influencer TV, and we will see you guys all on the next one. See ya.